differential.
The day after a winner's lounge, let's go through those hangover takes. Plus, we'll go through every Nugget, talk about their stonks from the start of the season. Are they up? Are they down? Plus, the state of the West. We'll tear out the Western Conference. This is the DNVR show. All right. Thank God that Monday came after Sunday and not Saturday this time. You know what I mean?
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
What is up, everybody, and welcome into the DNVR show.
Let's go.
The DNVR Nuggets show, also known as the DNVR show, presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code DNVR365 when you sign up. Choose your offer and find out why. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And I would tell you that we're live here in the Toyota Lounge, but we're not. We're in Studio B again. That's just, listen, this is our fate right now. This is our lot.
I mean, we can't look at it's important that we don't look at this as a punishment or a downgrade. It's just simply a different studio.
Just simply a different studio. To be honest, for these kind of shows,
I'm perfect.
I kind of like it better.
What if we renamed it Studio A+?
I know.
That's what we should do.
Yeah, dude. Or we'll just call it the good. It's called the good studio.
The
Ooh,
good
I
studio.
like that. The good studio.
Whoa, we're in the good studio today. This sucks.
The Nuggets are off till Friday, but we'll be live all week. We'll kind of shuffle around who's on the show. No Adam Matas today. Obviously, I'll be hosting. I'm Brendan Vogt, and I am joined by Eric Wedum. You might know him as D-Line Co. And if you don't know him as D-Line Co., you might know him as Denver Man.
That's right, guys. I'm here, and I'm ready to talk about the Denver Nuggets. Kinda.
And next to Eric Wedum, always ready to talk about the Denver Nuggets, the man with the wind in his hair, Harrison.
Is that how you introduced yourself to Bill Simmons, Denver Man? Because that's what I would have done if I was you.
I don't even think I said my name.
You're just like, oh, Jokić, best player ever.
I mean,
That's exactly what happened, just so you know.
Well,
That's how
yeah.
the conversation went.
That's how it went. We came in, we just started talking about Jokić.
First words, the greatest ever.
Yeah.
First
That's a
words
good
of the
start.
conversation.
I legitimately don't think I gave him my name.
You didn't. It was awesome. It was awesome.
I mean, if he just remembers you as Denver Jokić guy, that's probably good enough.
Fine by me.
Yeah, I like that.
Shout out to everyone hanging out in the Toyota chat. Shout out to all the babes hanging with us. And
Shout out.
That's an old reference, just so you know, if that made you uncomfortable. Today, we're going to talk about the Nuggets' big win over the Hawks, which followed a really big loss to the Wizards. We'll give out our hangover takes. We'll take a look at the Stonk report and maybe tear out the Western Conference here at the end. Not maybe, we will. Harrison, I'll start with you, man. I know we got a chance to talk about it on the show, but anything really just kind of sticking with you for hangover takes here? And actually, I didn't even have you on the show last night, so this is even better.
I was not on the show last night. I did watch the game or most of it. This is the NBA. It's pretty funny, man. You have what could be called the most embarrassing loss of the Jokić era Saturday night. Sunday night, you do get, Aaron Gordon in the lineup, and then you have a convincing blowout win over a better team on the second night of a back-to-back, the end of a East Coast road trip. If that's not the NBA, I don't know what is.
It's definitely the Denver Nuggets right now.
It's the NBA.
But those types of things happen, man. And yeah, we were emotional Saturday. I think we were right to be. And then the Nuggets turn around and, redeemed themselves a little bit on Sunday. That was my big takeaway. Like this is the NBA. These things happen. Your season goes into the lowest of lows at times. Even when the Nuggets won a championship, that was the case. And then, you can rebound out of that unexpectedly the next night. My other take is that Nikola Jokić is the greatest basketball player in NBA history. And that's what I'm going to tell my child.
Okay. All right.
And I'm going to tell it all to you right now.
Are you putting that out there as a hot take or just truly what you believe at this point?
It's what I believe.
You just think he's the best player you've ever seen?
I think he's clearly the best player I've ever seen. It's hard to imagine somebody scoring more effortlessly and better than Nikola Jokić has this season. I can't imagine it. I don't know what it would look like. I don't know what it would feel like to see that. I just cannot imagine it being
I can't imagine it being
easier
on offense ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
I'll tell my kids that he's the greatest player ever.
D-Line, what do you think when you hear that? I have a feeling I know where you're going with it, but what do you think?
I mean, that's first off. That's how I would start a conversation with Bill Simmons.
Yeah, that's what I would.
Best player of all time.
That's true. We already knew that.
But is it?
Okay, let me.
Can you
frame
also imagine? Sorry, if you could play against the Eastern Conference every game.
Well, that was one of my hangover takes as well. 2 games against the Eastern Conference. One of them a decent team right now, and what does he put up? 98 or over 100 points? 104.
104 points in the last 2 games.
And see, I wasn't on last night either. I have a couple of hangover takes I wanted to give.
Sure.
I think last night shows that the Denver Nuggets are no longer in a place where they can be coached. And it really comes down to the players holding each other accountable. Malone is able to do whatever he wants, and it doesn't really have any impact until Nikola Jokić utters one semi-critical statement in the media towards his teammates, and everyone showed up, and they destroyed the Hawks. And it was the second night of a back-to-back. They were playing with full energy, full effort, every single player. And it just really honestly it shows you how important it is to have leadership come from within on the court, because the coaches can't do it. And it's not even like a failing of Michael Malone. It's just how it works,
and 10 years later, especially.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
like,
your voice falls on deaf ears, right?
It's just, at a certain point, like, you can't motivate guys just by
or maybe you can for a window.
But the way you do that with young players, you give them, you're like, I'm giving you a challenge. And like, that's what Michael Malone does. He like issues just challenges, and those are great and it helps. But it's like, for meaningful change on the basketball court, like, you have to know that the best player of all time in the eyes of Harrison, myself, and Bill Simmons, I assume,
and Russillo,
believe that you're not worthy to be on the court with him at that time. Like, you're not playing well enough. You should be benched. We should take your money. That kind of stuff. It wasn't even like that strong, but just to hear that amount of disappointment in Jokic's voice, which you don't hear. Like, he's very aloof in the way that he goes about, particularly his conversations with the media.
Yeah. Right.
For him to say something like that in the media, like, that says, like, okay. And the Nuggets responded.
And Michael Malone revealed after the game that Sunday morning, the following morning, he challenged everyone again to speak up, and Jokić spoke again. Yeah. He didn't reveal the details, of course, but I don't think it's a stretch to say. I mean, we saw what happened. The Nuggets played unacceptable basketball. Their leader spoke up. The next day, I think anyone that felt serious about wanting to be on that team assumed some responsibility.
And I think that, and we've talked about this, Michael Malone's been asking for this for a while.
Yes, Harrison.
He has been asking for Nikola Jokić or Jamal Murray, one of the team's leaders, to step up and become that guy, become the voice, become the leader. Because like you said, D-Line, I think Michael Malone also realizes that his voice might be dwindling, and it just doesn't have the same impact that it did maybe 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. That's something that can naturally happen on a team who has a core that's been together for a long time. That's a veteran team, a contender. That stuff can happen. But he's been asking for somebody else to take that mantle. Yeah. Maybe Jokić has. Maybe this is the turning point where Nikola Jokić has, because we also talked about on, it might have been the game after the Losers Lounge after the Cavs loss. Like, something that can turn this team around. It might take a lot of things, but something that can start that is Nikola Jokić just calling people out. Mm-hmm. And it seems like he did that a little bit. He didn't mention any names publicly. Maybe he did privately, but he did call, it seemed like, the rest of his teammates out after that Washington loss. So I think it's a start, and I think everybody in the organization might have been signaling, publicly or privately, that like, we need Nikola to just do this. This is the time, and he might have to do it to save the season.
Closest he's come to a public challenge to his teammates, I think. Like a challenge.
Right? He rarely calls guys out.
He really does. He doesn't acknowledge.
Which he didn't necessarily do so much as he kind of just said, hey, like, this is unacceptable, kind of even by my standards. Yeah. And so it's not that he named anyone so much as kind of everyone had to look in the mirror.
The way that he always goes about, the way he talks about any game is he frames it through himself, and then he gives praise to his teammates. It's it's never, like, he never, even if something is bad, he'll just take it. He'll be like, I should have, whatever. It's never ever directed outward. And so I've got to feel like that was meaningful and clearly landed. And I was going to say the other thing it showed me is that I know the Nuggets have it. And we all know that they have it. They're not suffering to this point from a deficit of talent or ability. They have suffered somewhat from continuity, the same players on the court at any given time, some amount of trying to figure out roles beyond the obvious starting five, but they're just in a place where motivation is where they have to live. And it's honestly this is a lot of why teams will talk about dynasties being so difficult, because the motivation changes and you have to be able to remain motivated even when it's
the Nuggets failed it right out of the gate. First test is, can you do it again? Can you just, no matter how tired you are, can you just,
it's not just hungry.
Can you bring it back again? And they didn't have that. So it's a good point. But I also, part of what is the deal with this Nuggets team and when is what Jokić said. They can beat anyone. They can lose to anybody, literally anybody. So I understand what Wind is saying, that the regular season zags, but I also think this Nuggets team is about as volatile as it gets in terms of, how steep the nadirs are.
Yeah.
And the peaks as well. And because I don't think, because usually teams this wildly inconsistent don't also have the best player of all time. So the games they get it right, it's going to look pretty good. And I think, but
yeah. Do you know what the Wizards did last night? Did you check the Wizards score last night by chance?
I just checked it on your screen.
Does anybody know in the chat what the Washington Wizards did last night?
I don't want it. What is it?
They lost 140 to 112 to the Grizzlies at home.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And this type of stuff, again.
About to start up another 16-game losing streak.
This is why people hate the NBA. It makes you insane because you're like, God, these guys, they're just there's no excuse that you could give me that I could be other than they just didn't care into Washington. There's nothing. It's
which is a problem.
They got schemed out of it. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Which is a problem.
It sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. I completely agree. My hangover take, fellas, is that the ball is popping this year more than we have kind of acknowledged it. And I think a lot of it is because some guys have been in and out of the lineup. And I think a lot of it is that the defense is so bad, and when they lose these horrible games. Last night, the Nuggets had 56 field goal makes, 43 assists. Russ had 11, Jokić had 8, AG had 6, Pickett had 5, Christian Brown had 4, MPJ and Strawther each had 3. The Nuggets are first in the league in assists per game, guys. 30.9 assists per game, number one in the NBA. 3 Nuggets are averaging more than 6 assists per game. Jokić at 10.2, Murray at 6.8, Westbrook at 6.2. And then even MPJ guys right now would be a career high 2.9 assists per game. Jokić ball is back. Now, I'm not saying the Nuggets are back. I'm not saying, and defensively, all these questions, but last year we felt like maybe the offense was too narrow and was too two-man game oriented. And just quietly underneath all the defensive turmoil, they have kind of discovered a more egalitarian offense that I think when they get right is more fun to watch and probably more fun for everyone to be involved in.
That's a pretty stunning statistic just based on the eye test this season. But a big reason for it is Russell Westbrook. And Russell Westbrook and his connection with Nikola Jokić has been a revelation. It's been one of the coolest storylines of this season. He sets Nikola Jokić up with easy basket after easy basket after easy basket. These are just free points that Russell Westbrook is gifting Nikola Jokić every game. I saw this stat from Jason Timp before we started the show. 14 of Russell Westbrook's 23 assists in the last 2 games were to Nikola Jokić. 14 of 23. Westbrook's second on the Nuggets in assists, despite coming off the bench this season. He has started some games that mostly come off the bench. 11 assists last night, 12 assists the night before. He had another double-digit assist game against the Lakers. He had 14 assists against the Grizzlies, 10 assists against the Heat earlier this season. He's been incredible passing the ball.
Incredible.
This year. His passing has been so good. Yeah, he gets a little careless at times. Who doesn't on the Nuggets? His two-man game, though, with Nikola Jokić is like Russell Westbrook bringing the two-man game back,
But it's like
He's kind of bringing it back.
But
there's no threat for him to score.
He's still getting it to Jokić, and
I
you're
know.
still scoring every
It's
time.
like a 1.5 man game because like there's no Russ is not going to score out of it.
Just
It's a new version
how
of
he's
Jokić
just
ball.
able to set Jokić up with these easy baskets around the rim has been one of the most important storylines of the season so far.
Well, let's talk more about that and Russ in general. In fact, guys, we'll go through every player on the roster and just say from the start of the season, our expectations till now, are there stocks up or down, and why? First, we'll take a break.
Guys, check out Live Well with 25 convenient Colorado locations. Live Well, they strive to make cannabis accessible to all because they believe everyone deserves to live well. I actually stopped into a Live Well over the weekend.
Did you?
I used the
did.
code and it worked.
You do look
I
like
used
you're
the code
living
as
well.
well. I used the code
It's
as
a
well.
hefty discount, fellas.
That code is DNVR25. You get 25% off one regular priced item. That's exactly what I did. Got one regular priced item, 25% off. Boom. In and out, super quick. Live Well, they have awesome customer service. They have everything you could want. They'll guide you and help you get exactly what you came in there to get. They have the widest selection of cannabis flower, edibles, concentrates, and more. You mention the code DNVR25 in store, get 25% off one regular priced item. They also offer a price match guarantee, ensuring you get the best value by matching local competitors' prices on eligible products. You can go to livewell.com today to reserve your product there. And then you go in store. You can go into any of their 25 convenient Colorado dispensary locations. 25 of them. Use the code DNVR25, get 25% off one regular price item. Restrictions do apply. Also, check out Bird Call. I did not get Bird Call this weekend. I wish I did.
I know.
I got Live Well. I did not get Bird Call.
Dude,
I'm
we're
slacking.
talking about a match made in heaven, dude.
Yeah. If you are on the hunt for the best fried chicken sandwich,
I am.
just looking at that graphic gets me hungry.
I got to get in that box.
If you're on the hunt for the best fried chicken sandwiches, tenders, and salads in Denver, look no further than Bird Call. Bird Call is all about all natural chicken goodness. They have a fully customizable menu, chef-crafted salads, award-winning tenders and nuggets, incredible tots and fries, milkshakes, you name it, they've got it. Also, you've got to get Bird in a Box. People are going crazy over it. $9.95. You can build your own Bird in a Box with your choice of 2 crispy sliders or 1 slider and 2 tenders. You get tots or fries, pickles, and one of their signature sauces. If you like it spicy, you can upgrade as well. Bird Call was hatched in Denver, now has 8 restaurants across the Front Range with more opening soon. Get over to Bird Call. Get your hands on a Bird in a Box. Woo. This week only, DNVR fans can score 25% off any $15 order at Bird Call with promo code DNVR. Get down to Bird Call, order online, eatbirdcall.com. Grab this offer through the end of December.
I got to make this happen.
Josh Bonnet from Down Under says we would call that a chicken burger. Sandwiches have bread, not buns.
It's a valid point, I think.
No, it is
point.
valid. It's always been known as a chicken sandwich since its advent. Some things can't be changed, and it started in the South. So what do you know?
I also think it's possible that the starting point just maybe isn't anything that the Australians would call it. You know what I mean?
No,
Like I feel
what do
like
you
maybe the entirety of the Australian culture is just deviation from the norm, not actually the norm.
Yeah, we'd call it a chicory-doo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something like that. And ours isn't chicken. It's like a giant scorpion from the desert. All right, anyway. Never been to Australia, actually. I don't know if you can tell. Guys, once in a while on this show, we pause, we bring our heads above water, we take a breath, and we want to just figure out, how are the Stonks looking? Stonks. It's a 2024 Denver Nuggets Stonk report. And we will start with the name Harrison Wind was using
My
right
stock
before
is
the
up, I'd
break.
say.
And
Now
Harrison,
that you're living well,
Yeah, my stock is up. All
the
right.
name Harrison Wind was just talking about before we went to break. That was Russell Westbrook, guys, who has played 22 games for the Denver Nuggets, coming in at 24.8 minutes per game, 11.3 points per game, 4 rebounds, 6.4 assists, shooting 39.9% from the field, call it 35% from 3. Harrison Wind from the start of the regular season
Yeah.
to now. So we can just say maybe your expectations to now. Russell Westbrook stonk up or down?
Way up.
Way up.
Astronomically up. He's been awesome. The 2-man game alone, the synergy he's had with Nikola Jokić, who might have been right about Russell Westbrook this whole time, that alone has like put his stock up. His shooting's been better than expected. His passing's been great. His defense, I think, has been a little better than expected too. He locked down Trae Young for most of that Hawks game.
He really did.
Like, that is something the Nuggets haven't done in a while.
In a long time.
I feel like Trae Young always kills the Nuggets. So up huge. His stocks are so high right now. And I mean, it's looking like a great addition at this point. I don't think there's any way around that.
Yeah, I would say it's up, but I think we all kind of thought it would work. This, I would say, is, I'm not at all surprised about where it's gone, how it's gone, my feelings towards Russ, all of these things that I wasn't, like, when I first heard the news, I was like, oh my God, this is going to take some time. We've got to really wrap my head around this. He's going to take over the offense. He's going to ruin it. And then we just kind of, the more you thought about it, you're like, of course, man. Like, he can totally be that Bruce Brown role. He can be the sixth man. He can also help with Jokić. But I mean, like you said, I don't think that any of us saw it working as well as it has been to this point. It would be nice if he could, like, finish
make a free
layup,
throw.
but like, or finish, make a free throw, whatever.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But it actually doesn't matter. Like, he's just been so instrumental in a lot of, connective things.
And I think like you said, expectations were for a relatively turbulent season, for an aging former star fitting into a new role and, on a vet minimums contract, right? Essentially. So it's not, expectations weren't sky high, but specifically, I think we even said there are going to be some stinkers, but you just got to buckle up for it.
Yep.
And you just got to, over time, Westbrook will probably help this team. I would say it's up. The one thing that I obviously wish were different, he has this awesome chemistry with Jokić, which is great. And specifically, his passing to put Jokić in scoring position is amazing. But a lot of guys are good with Jokić. He hasn't necessarily lifted the bench or buoyed the bench. And I shouldn't even say necessarily. He just hasn't. So that would have been a resounding success.
Oh, yeah.
But I think expectations were fairly limited for Westbrook coming into the year. I would say his stock is up. Chad, of course, we want you to play along as always.
Yeah, it's just definitely up. It has been so important for him, or it was so important for him to get off to the start that he did. Because if Russell Westbrook had a bad first couple months, that could have torpedoed a lot of the Nuggets season, it feels like. Just because if Russell Westbrook is really bad, there's just so many eyes on you. It's such a hot button issue that everybody loves to talk about. But the fact that he is good and he's gotten off to a good start and is clearly helping this Nuggets team right now, that's going to pay dividends down the line this regular season. But I also don't think he's come close to the most important part of the season, the most important thing Russell Westbrook is going to do. Maybe it's the leadership component. What is he going to do in the playoffs? That's obviously going to color how we view Russell Westbrook's season in Denver. But getting off to the start he did, man, it was so important.
I agree.
And he hasn't lifted the bench. Maybe it was probably unrealistic to think that he might be able to.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't even know if Giannis could lift the Nuggets bench.
Seriously.
Would they still be a negative in the Jokić off-court minutes with Giannis? Maybe.
Probably somehow.
But it's definitely up.
All right, let's move on then to a guy who we haven't seen a ton of this year, but when we've seen him, I think has really pleased the fan base with his play so far, and that's Aaron Gordon. At 14.3 points per game, 6.0 rebounds, 3.5 assists per game, shooting 53% from the field, guys, still at 47% from three on 3.1 attempts per game. Only 11 games played for Aaron, and again, the thing to remember is the fan base already loved him coming in. But Eric, what do you think about Aaron Gordon's season? And it's tough when you take the injuries into account, but would you say his stock's up or down?
I mean, it's the same for me. I don't know that you can really make any kind of ruling on Aaron Gordon being better or worse than he was last year. It's been a really choppy season. He started off firing from three, which was crazy. He was hitting a ton of 3-point shots. And then the leg, and now we're just dealing with the hamstring. And it's going to be, I hope that's, I'm dismayed that it popped back up after him coming back to join the team. That's what these soft tissue injuries are like, especially in hamstrings for basketball players. They just linger, which is why it's so terrible that Jamal Murray is on the injury report with the same thing. Like, so, I mean, like, yeah, he's been great sort of recently. I mean, it's great to have him around. Like, you certainly say he hasn't taken a step back, but hard to say he's taken a step forward either.
I think that's a pretty good perspective on it. What do you think?
Probably about even. I'm probably in the same boat. Not up or down. We have seen that he's as important to this team as ever.
Yes, I agree.
Like when the Nuggets don't have Aaron Gordon, suddenly they're a soft, non-physical team that can just get pushed around and like feels like everybody's just constantly doing the too small sign to the Nuggets when they don't have Aaron Gordon.
So true, man.
And then when you have them, it's like, oh yeah, they are a physical team.
Too big.
They're not going to get pushed around by anybody. Yeah. So it's he's as important as ever. That's been clear.
We also talked about them trying to play connected and having an identity, and he's so important to that on both sides of the ball. You know, that physical dynamic, of course, when he's healthy defensively helps this lineup a lot, but also just I mean, I just think he's a guy who is integral to what the Nuggets would like to do. And there was that crunch time, his first game back, where Jokić hit him a couple times, diving to the rim.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yes, like that's a part of what the Nuggets try to do. Yeah. It's not just dance and wait for a bucket. So
have we had a finale oop this year?
No.
No, we have not. We have not.
We need it, man.
We need it. Listen, the finale oop comes because the 2-man game is firing, and then it's a quick, like you're not expecting it. So the 2-man game hasn't really been firing.
It probably needs to be a finale oop with Jamal involved, right?
I would think so. Which is also part of it. Between those two guys. Might be bad if it's with Westbrook.
I mean, bad, whatever. Did you guys see the that Minnesota game last night? Minnesota Golden State. That ended with Draymond Green telling Rudy Gobert to go night-night. Mm-hmm. So if you didn't see the play, Draymond Green has an ISO against Rudy Gobert, like under 2 minutes to go or something. Warriors have the lead. And it's just like a finishing play. It's a dagger. And Draymond ISOs, like goes between his leg a couple times, drives to his right, and just dunks it. And then does the night-night celebration. But of course, it's like on Rudy Gobert, kind of, or Gobert was defending him to start the play. So you got that. But then also after the game, Steph Curry goes, and he was talking about that play. He said something like, we needed that. We needed that moment. And we've talked about this on the show. The Nuggets need a moment like that. A finale oop to end the game could be that moment.
Okay. I agree, man. I agree. Against a good team when they played the right way, but it's still hard fought. It's a good take, man. All right, let's do an obvious one just because I want to read stats. I'm going to talk to you guys about Nikola Jokić for a second here. And if you didn't know, Jokić is averaging 32.3 points per game, 13.6 rebounds per game, and 10.2 assists per game on 56% from the field and 50% from deep. Just to go a little deeper for you guys, Jokić is second in the league in points per game, trailing only Giannis, who leads at 32.5. That's a 0.2 difference.
We just need another 50-point game to get to the top spot.
Maybe just a few more games against the East. He is first in rebounds per game at 13.6. Second in the league in assists per game, trailing only Trae Young, who's at about 12.2. This is outrageous, guys. And of course, the efficiency is outrageous. I'll say it for you guys. This is the best he's ever been. Unless you want to look at some playoff peak, this is the best he's ever played. And that is being said about a guy who has pretty much owned the last half decade anyway.
Yeah, it's, I am simultaneously expecting him to be the best he ever is now, and then also
get better somehow.
Always get better. I don't know how I'm able to square those two in my mind, but he's always like, it just, whatever needs to happen, he does it. It's crazy. I've never had this relationship with a professional athlete before. It's just
where they never disappoint you.
They never ever disappoint
except
you.
for a couple times.
No, even if he does, I'm not disappointed in him. Yeah, there's something else that you can point to. It's never him. Yeah. But I mean, truly, he's just. I mean, He's ruining sports for me. What am I supposed to do? Here's the take. Bo Nix? Is Bo Nix this good? Can he be this good?
So you know how Nikola Jokić always says, I just make the right play every time?
Yeah.
What if he has just realized that with this team this season, the right play is just for him to shoot it every time?
I think in certain
that's
moments
actually
it
the
is.
right play. This year, the right play isn't to pass to Julian Strother. The right play is not to pass to Christian Brown, even though he's open. The right play is just for me to shoot it.
We've said this for years. It is always the right play because no one scores.
But he's realized
easily.
it now.
Maybe.
Because in years past, he's passing that every time.
Yeah, well,
I'm double teamed, I'm passing him. But this year, with this team, when he's double teamed, the right play in his mind, the computer spits out the right play is to shoot.
We're going to see if that sticks when Jamal Murray is back, because he looked like this, not to this degree, because now he's better, but he looked like this when Jamal Murray was out. He just would be the one that would score every time, more often than not.
Yeah, but I agree. I mean, I think it's been less about setting things up in a way he likes to do across the season and more about, if I don't play very well, we're going to lose.
Or if I play amazingly, we might still lose.
To the worst team in the league.
Yep.
Do you think he's going to score over 56 in a game?
Over 56, yes.
I don't know. I'd like to think that was the combination of as good as he's been against a bad opponent while the Nuggets are playing unhealthy basketball, and the right play was to go score 56. I would like to hope that they get to a place where, while he is averaging the second most points per game in the league, it's a bit more of the right play here is to pass because guys are playing better again. So,
how many threes did he have in that game?
It's a good question. I think it was a lot of free throw work, actually. I feel more than usual,
because if his three is really going, let me look it up right here. He shot 60% from three. How many threes did he actually have, though? That's the other thing. He's like still second or third in the league in 3-point percentage.
Yeah.
He was 3 of 5 from three. So if he had a game where he made like 6 threes.
So stupid.
Unbelievable. Well, we know that Jokić stock is up. We'll take a look at the rest of the Nuggets on the other side of the break.
A shout out to Bet365, now an official partner of the Denver Nuggets and Colorado Avalanche. You can sign up with that code DNVR365. You can hit the QR code right there on the screen and bet along with us before every Nuggets game. We've been making a lot of money this season, so we give out our pregame picks. During every pregame show, Dev does at least, and you can bet with us on Bet365. That's the app we use to bet. And they got great lines. They got everything you would want to bet on there. New customers right now, you can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets. You can sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. I did lose the Westbrook triple-double bet again last night.
Unbelievable.
Oh, you took it again? What did he end up with?
It wasn't close last night.
No.
The Wizards one.
I cannot believe he missed a triple-double by points.
Dude, I don't want to talk about it. Also, shout out to Empire Today. If you have any flooring needs, Empire Today. They are your people. The best place to get new flooring. Nobody beats them on quality service and speed. Their philosophy is very simple. Help you find what you need. Don't overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. If you're looking to put new floors in your home, your office, your business, wherever, hit up Empire Today. They'll walk you through the whole process. They'll make it really easy for you. They won't confuse you with 1,000 different things. They will point you in the right direction and help you get the floors that you want. They have a virtual floor designer, great way to see how new floors will look in any space. Super easy to use. You can schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners to this podcast can get $350 off when you use the promo code DNVR. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/DNVR for details.
All right, guys, let's go a little quicker here so we can maybe tear out the Western Conference.
Should we just
before
talk
we get out
Jokić
here.
more?
I could do it. I mean, we've got a long week, so yeah, we can find some time.
The schedule is crazy, man.
Hey, D-line, Michael Porter Jr. averaging 19 points per game on the nose, just shy of what would be a career high, although he is playing more. Third on the team in minutes per game, 35.7 minutes. shooting 51% from the floor, 38.8% from three on 6.1 attempts. And of course, a career high 2.9 assists per game. What do you think of Porter so far? Stock up or down in your mind?
It's kind of even to me. He had a great game last night. He had a terrible game the night before. It's kind of this good highs, bad lows, inconsistent. Some things seem to be trending in the right direction. Some things seem to be stuck where they have been. I loved his response last night. I thought it was really important, especially again after the night previous, where it just felt like Jokić just was comically on an island with no other players he could count on. I have felt just generally, I have felt positively about him, but I felt that I've always felt that way about him. I don't know, man. I'm curious your thoughts on this because you probably shade. Not probably. You shade more positive. I probably shade a little more negative on our outlooks of him. But I think that he's been good, most assuredly. But I do think he has to be better. Like
I agree.
If he gets graded in the same light that Jamal Murray does of being a max player, he's actually been very fortunate in the fact that Jamal Murray has been such a disaster this season, so nobody's yelling about Mike. But I just kind of think he's at where he's at, and I keep feeling he's going to go up, but I don't know. You tell me. What?
Well, I mean, I think obviously he's been a lot better than Jamal has this year, but that I would say his stock's honestly even. I mean, he's scoring more, but he's playing more and he's getting some shots, but they're not from, he's 39% from three on 6.1 attempts per game is certainly not something to be ashamed of, but Michael Porter Jr.'s standards for shooting are elite. And that's below elite, and they do need him to be an elite shooter. I think he's been worse this year defensively than he has since he's come back from the most recent procedure. The last year, 2 years, he was so much closer to an average defender. And even at times at nights, remember he had a stretch where guys would try to ISO him, and they were like, maybe this isn't the move anymore. Mm-hmm. But I think this year he's been so bad defensively. He's been so bad that it probably prevents me from saying stock up. There are some things we like. He's really good in the paint. It's nice to see the playmaking, but I just think the 3-point shooting and the defense could be better. And until they are, I won't say stock up.
You know what I really, really think is up with Michael Porter Jr. is his acknowledgement of how tall he is and how tough he's been playing around the rim and how he's really been
great in the paint,
been incredible in the paint in ways that we hadn't really seen before that I can remember. I think he's obviously, to me, feeling more comfortable in his body. Like he's not shielding himself all the time. I think he's realizing he can actually trust his surgically repaired back, which is the most terrifying sentence in sports. But it seems to be working for him, and he never it doesn't ever seem to be a thought. And he's playing so much more physically in the paint, at the rim, easy shots. Which I love to see. So from that standpoint, I think we are primed for it.
There's some room for growth.
There's a big. I think he has to kind of go into that. Because I don't know how much better he's going to get as a guy that just roams the perimeter all the time.
Yeah, I think he's added a new layer to his offensive game, the scoring in the paint. He's definitely focusing there, but because the defense has dropped off and taken a step back, he's probably even for me.
Yeah,
I agree. I think that's the
right
his
defense has been so bad. What happened, man?
Yeah, because he had actually turned a corner from this.
Totally,
and he's reverted.
These last couple years, he was trending up defensively. This year, he's taken a clear step back.
I completely agree.
I'm kind of befuddled about what happened.
Me too.
I just think that the Nuggets are stricken with
think it's
early seasonitis.
The connectivity.
I just think that nobody's putting in the effort they need to.
Or if the team is disconnected,
yes,
MPJ is not going to be the glue guy on defense, maybe. But either way, it's still well below standard. So I agree. Until the three and the defense are better, you can't really say he's up, even if we've liked some of the areas of growth. Okay, let's go a little quicker. Christian Brown, up. I assume. Harrison, I'll let you take this one if you have anything to say.
It's for sure up. I mean, it's tough to complain about anything Christian Brown has done this year,
cranes.
Other than not wearing the Browntown shirt.
We don't have it yet.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm not that.
I can't even kill him for that.
No, I mean, there's a lot of cranes and building material. Browntown is rapidly turning into a metropolis.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's up, right? I mean, it's been
dude,
offensive.
it's way up.
It's up for
He's
sure.
all the way up.
I would say the last couple of weeks defense wobbled, but last night he was so effing good. I'm ready to drop that. Christian was
He beat the
Christian's been great.
allegations.
Okay, just a few
Dude,
more names.
the biggest test will come if he can guard Norman Powell coming up on the 13th.
Do we want to talk about Jamal Murray and just did you want to shake the hornet's nest?
Yeah, I was going to finish with Jamal. Actually, let's not do that. That's sad. Let's do Jamal.
Let's just not do. Can we just because every show is about
Down,
what's wrong with
Stock
Jamal.
down,
on.
stocks
Stock
down,
down,
stocks
like-
down for all the reasons we've talked
We
about.
know,
for the
like,
last
yeah,
month.
I don't want to get in there.
His stocks are down. His stocks are down. Okay, couple more names. Peyton Watson from the start of the season, up or down?
Interesting.
I'd say probably even. Probably even to me. He's had some great moments, specifically when he's been playing with the starters.
That's a good point.
And playing 40 minutes a night. And now he's caught in the vortex of the bad bench, which just sucks you in and zaps all your powers. And you're suddenly unrecognizable to the player you were when you were playing with the starters. That's what's happened to Peyton Watson. But he's still game changing with his defensive ability. His offense has been okay this season. I think it's been pretty good. I think he's definitely gotten a lot better from last year. So I'd go about even.
I know there's so many that just feel even. I mean, I think he is up a little bit because he got so little time on the court last year.
I think if you just actually look at what he did with the starters, you
say
could
up.
probably say up.
He was great with the starters.
He was awesome. Yeah.
We've seen him be a lot more reliable with his 3-point shot. We've seen him be who we know he can be around the rim, just sort of
So
like
good.
a freelancing.
He's the best shot
weak side.
blocker the Nuggets have had in the Jokić era, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't had any.
Not even close.
Yeah, we haven't.
He
had
also
any.
gets some blocks that they're kind of the Giannis, Jonathan Isaac. Like, how did your
He
arm
blocked shots that nobody
how'd your
else can
arm
block.
get there? You know, it's unbelievable. Okay, let's close with Julian Strawther. Last 2 games up, but on the season, from the start of the season to now. What do you guys think about Julian Strawther's
It's
stock?
tough because it's like this is like it's Bitcoin, right? He was crashed out, but the last 2 have been really good.
Last 2 have
And-
been really
You
good.
did not just say crashed out.
Yeah, dude.
Are you 21 years old?
I'm talking about the stocks. This is the stocks. This is the stock market crash.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we have so few points of data points to pull off of. Like, if he has a good game, it like really affects his outlet. You know, it's like he has been bad. But like the last 2 games, like you mentioned, you look at it, you're like, okay, that looks like a serviceable NBA player. I still think he has to. One of 2 things has to happen.
Here we go.
One of 2 things has to happen.
Listen up.
Number 1, my preference. Cut your hair. Number
That is
2,
your preference. Yes.
Number 2, tie your hair back. I can't have an unserious shooter that has
That is if you don't do option 1.
that has his hair in his eyes. That is the most
Tie your hair back.
I need somebody in the chat tell me who's the best player in history to have a dumb floppy haircut.
I was thinking about that. Floppy is the key.
Floppy is the
Floppy,
key.
yeah.
Because voluminous,
Flopping around.
Voluminous
think
is
of all
fine.
the Afro
We're not,
heroes,
we
but
are not talking style here.
Right.
We're talking about
Floppy hair.
We're talking
shooter.
about-
floppy in
yeah.
the eyes.
we're talking about hair that could literally get in your eyes.
Can you Google floppy hair shooter, Kale? Just see what
Zeke
comes up.
Najee, very floppy hair. He's tied it back.
And he's still not a shooter.
Not gonna Google that.
Depends. I'm just saying, like, we can't until you start playing regularly well. Like, you need to remove all reasons why it might be a
Right,
problem.
because if he got a buzz cut, if he got the Jokić haircut, he'd just be guaranteed a good game.
well, at least we wouldn't be like he just wouldn't look like a clown flopping around out there, especially when he's missing shots.
A lot of flopping around.
I think some of it is that he falls over a lot. too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say stock down on Julian.
sprained his own ankle.
I'm gonna say stock down on Julian. He actually is shooting better than I hoped, or than I expected. He's up 40% from 3 on the season.
Very good.
Defensively, I thought I knew he would be an offensive piece, but defensively, it's much closer to terrible. In fact, it is terrible. So that's for me kind of why I say down, because I thought of him as an offensive prospect who can do some things, but at times I think he's been borderline unplayable on the other end. Is that too harsh?
I still have a lot of faith in his
Me too.
shot. I really do, and I think it's going to be. And he's been finishing at the rim the last 2. We saw his floater
Yeah, he likes the
emergence.
floater when he when he is able to find a lane.
You're right, though. He's down overall. But I in the very recent past, feel very good about him.
All right, why don't we take one last break, and on the other side, we'll go through the teams in the Western Conference, figure out who belongs in what tier, take a look at where the Nuggets sit, and who knows?
Kyle Korver.
Oh, that's the great answer. It is Kyle Korver. Has to be Kyle Korver.
Best floppy hair shooter.
That's not. He doesn't have floppy hair.
He did. He had
we can
some
talk.
Abercrombie.
Shout out to Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR, the perfect vehicle for Colorado. No matter what you're in the market for, Toyota, they have a car, a truck, SUV for you. You want a truck? Check out the 2024 Tacoma. Check out the 2024 Land Cruiser. Do you want all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive? You can also get those, but you can also go for the 4Runner. Do you want a low or zero emission vehicle? Well, they have 16 different hybrid vehicles to choose from, like Tundra iForce Max Hybrid. They got SUVs like the RAV4 and the Grand Highlander. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Raffle and Centennial. Corwin Toyota and Boulder Group Toyota in Littleton. Mountain States Toyota in Denver. Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora. Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Denver Nuggets, the official vehicle of DNVR. Check out Toyota. Great cars. They last forever. I think we've all probably had one at some point in our lives. Oh, yeah, Steve Nash.
It's Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh, yeah, because Dirk used to have the...
Dirk. All right, fine. He can be Dirk.
Sure. We'll take that outcome.
Also, shout out to us at DNVR.
Cool.
Hey,
Why not?
We do a lot of events here at DNVR. If you are a diehard, you get discounts to all of our events, all our tailgates, our takeovers, Nuggets takeovers coming up as well. In a suite, right? We're sitting in a suite.
That is correct.
We're doing we have opened up a whole new type of event called the Top Shelf event.
Top Shelf event.
This is a Top Shelf event. We are going to be in a suite.
Not to be confused with a live well read.
No, that's right.
Different kind of Top Shelf.
You're going to get swag for coming. It's going to be a whole, like, you get a gift bag.
Food and drink in the suite.
In the suite included. Maybe I don't want to make any promises. There could be guests. There could, but it's a new type of takeover,
and it's tiered in price. So we're also still doing the normal takeover pricing with the normal seating as well. We're not going to stuff 300 of you in a box. And also we wouldn't take 300 of you. We're limited. But there is that still kind of tier available. So make sure you're always checking out the DNVR events page.
Yeah. Check it out, thednvr.com/events. It's coming up. It's against the Cavs. Revenge game.
Man, that's a good game. At home, that's a really good game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, man.
I want to go.
I'm actually nervous for that game.
Yeah.
Is it hot in the suite?
All right, I tasked super producer
No, that's your microwave.
Kale with whipping up a little tiers list for us, guys. We don't have to split the atom on this one here, but we're 23-ish, or how many are they? 25 games into the season for some teams, right?
Dude, somehow this season's been the
20
longest.
something.
This
some
season
teams
has
it's
been the
25,
longest
right?
of my life. We've
been at the 20-something game mark.
We haven't hit Jokić yet. There's been like just week break after week break.
Yeah.
NBA, this cup sucks.
The cup is happening now. That's the reason for the break, right?
I know. Yes,
I tried very hard to be into the cup. I am rapidly losing my enthusiasm.
I'm so out on the cup. I'm
You guys have really come home then.
I really
Thank
have.
God.
out on the cup.
Part of it is because the Nuggets sell it every year. Okay, here we go. Guys, let's do it a little differently, I think. Rather than going team by team to start, for D tier, here's how I want to do it. We throw teams out there. You guys feel free to throw teams out there, and the panel can veto or reject.
Okay.
Eric or Harrison, if you would like to throw a team in the D tier, the entire Western Conference is available to you.
Give me Portland.
Yeah. No objection here.
Yeah, Portland.
They
can
are
go in
terrible.
there. They can go in there, and they're cool with being terrible. Harrison,
Give me the Jazz.
Yeah.
you could put the Utah Jazz there. This is just going to be a list of teams the Nuggets have lost to.
I know. It really is. How sad. Another D tier team. The Pelicans.
Pelicans.
Yeah.
Well, the Pelicans with the worst record in the Western Conference.
So they have to be in there.
One of those wins, though.
But I'm curious, guys, there's a record jump and probably a tier jump here, but that would be up for you to decide here, or us. The next team in the standings here, the Sacramento Kings in 12th place at 12-13. They're not a D tier team, are they?
I have not seen them this year.
I haven't either.
So it's hard for me to say.
I think they got to be a tier above those three tiers.
They feel like they can't be in a D tier.
Yeah, they're a C tier.
They're probably C. Yeah,
they're a C tier.
I just I don't have enough info, but they can't be that bad, right?
They're not that bad. They're not. What they're having is a really rough season, which we would know about.
They've won 3 out of 4.
But they have won 3 out of 4.
They've played 2 D tier teams in the last 4 games. So.
Yeah, and to be fair, not that far off from Denver's record here, but game and a half behind in the standings. But I would say a disappointing start for them as well. A team that expected to pick up some wins. The next team then are the newish look San Antonio Spurs.
They got to be C.
C tier.
Yeah.
C tier.
C.
All right.
Congrats to Chris Paul. On those
C for
assists.
Chris. C for Chris.
In 10th place right now, hovering around 500, you have the Hooked on Phonics Suns. The Phoenix Suns are 12 and 11. They've missed a lot of time from some key players.
Really? What?
I know.
Are you serious?
What?
Bad luck has befallen this team. They signed Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal. They have, oh my God. All right, go ahead.
What do you guys want to do? What do you want to put in?
They're probably B.
They're
B?
They're B if they're not A.
They're
but
B.
They are masquerading as a terrible team right now. Like
I think you're kind of right. I think B is a good way to look at it.
B is actually a little cruel to them, but they're not.
They haven't been great. Yeah.
But they're like the Nuggets. You can't be good when you don't have your players, but they're never going to. So.
Which is part of it. This is really part of it. Okay, so Suns in the B tier. And that kind of would group them
where
with
do we put Minnesota?
The Minnesota Timberwolves. We're at 12 and 11, trending up after a tough start. But again, kind of a weird fit here after that trade. Not the same team.
Not at all.
Are they B tier? I mean, they're B tier now, I think, but are they?
Yeah, they're at least B tier.
They're probably B tier.
They're B tier at least.
I still kind of think they're A tier, but I could B tier. This is kind
we
of
can
where
adjust
they're
at the
right
end.
now.
We can adjust once we've seen everything,
Yeah.
Because part of it is like, are we doing this right now?
A lot of these teams are making it hard to evaluate who they are by showing you who they are. You know what I mean? By being bad. We're like, that team's bad. And we're like, but they're not bad, but they're bad. So it's tough to know with some of these.
Yeah.
That brings us to the Los Angeles Lakers. 13 and 11. 13 and 11. Los Angeles Lakers.
They stink.
They
They're C
stink.
tier for sure.
I think they're C tier.
Yeah. They stink.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Who's your daddy? Who cares? We don't need to be objective. Screw them, dude. They're the C tier.
Speaking of being objective, at number 7, it's the
Nuggets.
Denver Nuggets. And I actually think with the way we've done it so far, I'm putting them in B. I think it's easy. I think they're easily a B right now. Not that they can't be an S tier team by the end of the season.
Bro, B.
But right now, man,
they just won by 40 points.
Right now, I think they're definitely better than the Lakers.
Yeah.
And I think they've had a very similar year to Phoenix and Minnesota. I think they're a tier above Phoenix when healthy, but they've had a terrible season. The Nuggets have had a terrible season. That's the thing.
Well, they've had a slow start.
I just relative to what we know they're capable.
What are we saying here? Who you believe them to be?
That's kind of so we should.
I don't
define
know
some
if
terms
we know
here.
what we're saying.
Yeah, we haven't defined terms.
I think it's just right now.
Right now, let's do it right now.
Right now.
I think right now.
Right now.
4:08 on Monday, December 9th.
Oh God.
Let's put them in I think B.
Fine.
I think B.
This stinks.
Okay, I know. I think they're a team that can play A tier, S tier basketball, but they haven't.
Probably B. Sorry.
Such a downer, man. You guys are bummers.
I mean, you really think right now they're
No. They're not. I mean, it's tough. I don't know who they are now.
They just lost to Washington 2 days ago, man. I think they can play themselves out of this tier, but this is who they've been, and I think anything more would be generous.
I guess I'm just looking at this as saying like, who are these teams? We're just saying like,
right.
If we're just saying like, what are the records?
If that was the case, I'd put Lakers in D.
But don't you think that right now B tier is just flawed teams that should be better than they are?
I think there's something to that.
Yeah.
To me, Minnesota is fundamentally flawed. To me, the Denver Nuggets are unmotivated, which is different. And like, I don't know that the Nuggets are fundamentally flawed. They could be. They absolutely could be. But I don't know that
I'm willing to make that. Less potentially fundamentally flawed than the Timberwolves?
Yes. The Timberwolves like really messed with their chemistry. The Nuggets are like, we need you guys to reclaim what we know you have.
I mean, look, but until they do, I think they're just as down. I think they're just as down bad as these teams. Again, they have Jokić. They have headroom.
Sure.
We think they can play better basketball than this, but I don't think it's who they've been. So I'm going to say B. Okay, the Los Angeles Clippers, 14-11 at 6. They've certainly beaten our B-tier Nuggets, beaten the brakes off of them. I'm so tired of James Harden.
I cannot believe they've been decent. I thought this was going to be a disaster season.
I mean, it has been a great season.
They're 14-11.
Better than our season, not much.
One more loss than the Nuggets.
One more loss than the Nuggets. So they got to be B.
Am I crazy?
They got to be B.
I mean, they're B, but I'd probably think they're C.
I think this is C too. This is what I mean. This who they are right now or who they are.
Yeah, but I think right now they belong in this tier we've built out. Right?
So it's who they are right now.
I know, but this is silly because in some ways we're just doing standings.
They're not good.
That's what I mean.
Right.
That's what I mean.
I mean, the only way we didn't go chalk is Lakers.
When I look at this, I'm like, okay, the Clippers stink. They're going nowhere. Minnesota messed up their team. They have to figure out. I don't think they're going to. The Suns are not going to get healthy in the time that matters. The Nuggets, to me, like they're gonna be better than this. The Lakers stink. You're right. Like this, everybody else. I mean, I'm just caught up on the Nuggets because I believe I'm biased when it comes to them. But I also think that that's the case.
Yeah, they're probably B.
Someone said you guys are dooming. You know, I'm not talking about Denver's
No,
title
I'm not
chances.
on Reddit.
I'm not talking about Denver's
Blue
title
Sky.
chances. I'm just looking at the start to the season they've had. I think this is the tier they belong in right now. But again, I give them a chance to play it out of it. Okay, the Golden State Warriors, 5th place in the Western Conference in a bunched up Western Conference, 14-9. Harrison Wind, what say you?
I'd put them probably B.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so too.
There's a true bellwether curve here.
They've have they overperformed or did
Not
everyone
bellwether.
sleep on them?
I don't think they're as good as they've
I
been.
think maybe a little overperforming so far.
I've been very on record about this. I am not believing in the Warriors.
I don't either. Every team that is anchored by an old player, I just don't believe. Like they come out of the gate hot. You're like, wow, LeBron's really turned the clock back.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, the clock caught right back up like every year.
I'm just not buying. I mean, they've been good. They are decent. I'm just not buying them as like a real threat.
Okay, the Dallas Mavericks,
S.
16-8. They've won 7 in a row. They're streaking.
S.
Got Luka playing well. A tier, S tier. What do you think,
S.
fellas?
Yeah, probably go S.
Yes.
Wow. All
They
right.
started off slow, but they figured it out. They've got their guys back, and they are putting it together right now.
Chat, help me out with the Houston Rockets, who, you know, best player-wise, certainly not on the level of some of these teams we're going to start talking about. But, man, 16-8 to start the year. They're playing great basketball.
Are they 8 here?
The Houston Rockets.
That feels so wrong. They can't.
This
be
is where it
eight.
gets
Houston's
tricky.
another. I mean, Houston, I might be actually buying a little more than Golden State, but I feel like they're kind of similar.
We're getting tricky now.
This
Now we're in the
is tricky.
thick of it.
This is tricky.
I almost think we should put Dallas A tier.
8? No, I believe Dallas is S. It's Dallas and then the fucking.
Basically, guys, it's time to ask ourselves: do we have an A tier? Because what's left here are Houston
Yeah,
and
I
Grizzlies.
think Memphis is maybe A tier.
Memphis A tier.
Put the Rockets in the B tier. Oh, put
Yeah, because
both
are
of
the
them in the A
Rockets
tier.
really? I know they've been a tier above, but
They've
like,
been a tier above. We got it. This is your rule. This is who they've been to this point. Put them in the A. Put them in the A. Put them in the S.
see, now this feels weird. Houston and
That's what I mean. The
I'm
Nuggets
okay
are not
with
in that, bro.
I'm okay with every row except for A. I'm okay with every row except for A.
A is like we've had a good season, but we're not a real contender.
B are we thought we were real contenders, but we've had
No, A is we've had a great year. Don't worry about us though. B is we've had a bad year, but maybe worry about us.
Yeah, I kind of agree. S is worry about us.
Yeah.
C is
See you
two
later.
disappointments.
See you next year.
One team
See
turning
you
in
at
the,
the
right
draft.
way.
Yeah.
All
Man.
right.
I hate this.
I
I hate our list.
I kind of think like it feels weird having Houston Grizzlies in A.
Dude, stinks.
Those are two teams that I think are not going to win the title. The Rockets
No
and the
way.
Grizzlies.
No way.
No chance.
Although the Grizzlies did just smoke the Wizards.
Oh, wow.
And before that, they beat the Celtics.
I'm telling you, John Morant is
In
so
Boston.
much more impactful than people want to. Like, he's just so fun to watch that you don't acknowledge how impactful he actually is as well.
Yeah.
That guy's unbelievable.
I think I like it. There's a logic to it. Every row has a place, you know? All right, there we go. I think this makes sense. And then it's up to Denver to not be a D team when they play the Pelicans and try to play themselves up to being an A or S tier team again, you know? But I think they have to prove it right now. Not that it's not about what they're capable of.
You see that, chat? You know what we're doing? We're holding them accountable.
We're holding them accountable.
That's what we do on this
We're
show.
being held
we
accountable.
hold people
But
accountable.
we're also being doomers. So
Yes, that's right.
You know what?
But
Tomorrow-
we are holding the Nuggets accountable.
tomorrow we'll strike a balance and just simply not do a show. Shut up and take my money. Nugs in their own tier. Meanwhile, OKC and Memphis up. DJ Seahawk, my tier list. Don't at me. S tier, OKC, Memphis, Dallas, A tier, Houston, Golden State, LAC, C tier, Denver. I don't care. Minnesota, Phoenix, D tier, San Antonio Spurs, Sacramento, Portland, Utah, NOLA. Macahoo. What are the repercussions if you ask Jamal if his focus is more towards the UFC or winning another title?
You mean, if, like, what are the repercussions of talking to someone that doesn't like what you just talked to them about?
I mean, there are probably no repercussions.
The guy, he's mad at you and it's
Yeah,
uncomfortable, and then
nobody
he doesn't
cares.
answer your question.
He'll probably
and, like,
say, "What do you think, bro? What do you
yeah,
think?"
you get like a snarky answer. Those are the repercussions.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Jay, a work week with no games. Can't wait for weird shows.
Yeah, just wait for tomorrow. Who knows what we'll talk about then?
Yeah, this was a really
No.
serious show today, so I think tomorrow we'll just.
We can talk about my Blue Sky impersonator.
Oh yeah, dude. Let's get to the bottom of that.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks to the super chatters, the regular chatters, the silent watchers, the listeners. We appreciate you. Toss us a like if you're watching on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe if you are listening on a podcast app. Drop us a rating if you feel so inclined. And most importantly, have a lovely rest of your Monday.
How nice.
We all silly like the mayor.